think we're live on video. And in just a second, I'm going to ask you to count us in on the podcast.
All right. Ready whenever you are.
Count us in on a podcast.
And we are going to 3, 2, 1, record.
Welcome to the show, everybody. It's episode 90. Aden Richards. What's happening?
The Packers just barely, maybe not deservedly, but they won. So I get to be moderately happy for another week.
You attaching your actual happiness to a sports team?
The American way.
Does not sound like the best plan I've ever heard.
I mean, you attach it to secret.
I don't know if I do. Anyway, no, the Packers win was pretty good. I mean, when they certainly tried to throw it away, when they got to 2nd and 8 and they faked the handoff and then Rodgers threw it away and stopped the clock. It was with like 2.5 minutes to go. Were you scared?
I had been terrified since the second half touchdown.
Well, right, and it's not like they don't have a tortured history with the Seahawks.
Right. No, I was pretty terrified the whole way. I mean, the Packers are not a very good team, but they're my not very good team.
Anyway, congrats to you. Happy for you and your boys.
Yep.
I also wanted to tell you before the start of this episode that I went to my company Christmas party on Friday, and that's not actually news. What's news is what happened. The reason my coworker Chelsea couldn't come to the party was that she had stopped at a gas station, not to buy gas, but just to get a coffee. Stopped at a gas station, left her car running, took the key fob in with her, and some brazen idiot jumped in the car and stole it and drove it away with her phone in it.
How far away can you drive from the fob? Apparently forever?
Yeah,
Seems
you
like
can
a
drive
mistake.
until you shut it off. So she was like, I'm just glad I didn't fill up on gas because that meant they only had a quarter tank to get away with.
I mean, is it highly... I guess she's probably going to get it back then?
She got it back. It back the next day. But yeah, that was...
Whoever stole it just like left it?
Yeah, they did. They abandoned it after realizing that they didn't have the key fob with them. Okay. But yeah, she was afraid. She had her phone, which had like pictures that she hadn't backed up, and she had child seats, which you don't know yet, but you'll know soon enough are absurdly expensive, and you have to replace them every year. So yeah, she's pretty happy to get that one back.
All right. Things I will probably never do.
Steal a car?
I'll leave my car running and have it stolen. I mean, I'll probably leave my car running at some point. I mean, yeah. But I just like odds are against it being stolen, even if I do for a short period of time, leave it running.
Absolutely. I leave my car unlocked, my house unlocked.
Yeah, if you live in Traverse, I guess to be fair, she got stolen.
She got it stolen from a town 1/10 the size of Traverse City.
Yeah. So probably, it's just an advantage. You get it stolen in DC, they probably take it to a chop shop before too long. I don't know where the nearest chop shop is in your location.
Yeah, exactly. In the Huron-Manistee National Forest. I don't think there are a ton of them.
Nope.
All right.
Some Dota here. Just everyone who didn't know, hasn't been on our Discord for a while, we just had our first watch party for the Minors Grand Final. Thanks to our new admins, Camouflage, Nestico, and Askalag for setting it up. I was on one game, but it was a blast when I was there. Yeah, highly recommend. We'll be doing it again for the Major, I think, right?
I have to assume so. I mean, it's going to be up to them. Kind of delegated a lot of authority to those new admins. Thanks again, guys. But no, it was cool. We had a voice channel, we had a chat channel, and it was cool just to hear other people. Except when those fuckers had. I don't understand why everyone's stream is 5 seconds ahead of mine. And they're just like, "Oh, he's super dead. Oh yeah, he's fucking dead." And I'm like, "He is."
Well, I had the other problem. I was definitely 5 seconds ahead of at least one person, which was awkward. Then I started being like, should I say it?
Potentially cool play coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, anyways, you want to stay informed on stuff like that or just talk some Dota, come to our Discord channel. Easiest place to find it is go to glimpsepod.com and there's a link. You can also follow me on Twitter at Mega Man Dota and Lorton on Twitter at SharkButler. And we've got merch on the glimpsepod.com/merch. Or you can go to, what is it, outdoorgamingpcs.com, and I'll link you right to it.
That's right. Now, audio engineer Jason asked us to pass along his thanks to alert listeners Asher and Hana for buying t-shirts in the last couple of days. Hana said the outdoorgamingpcs.com t-shirt is fucking sweet and had to have one. So, coming up in this episode, and if you have to have one too, sorry, this is where a call to action goes if you're good at marketing. We're obviously not. If you have to have one yourself, glimpsepod.com/merch. Now, coming up in this episode, we get the 4th Underlord coming. It's not really headline news, but that is happening. QO could maybe be back in our lives. There's a new esports venue coming to Atlanta. And of course, you're going to be hearing our preview of the Dreamleague Leipzig Major. Going to be playing Guess the Lines. Aiden, I'm sure you'll remember because you were almost traumatized by it. I was on my way to a rare victory last major when you eked out a draw on the very last turn.
Yeah, love getting right on 75-1 long shots because that's really what makes it's emblematic of your talent, right? It really represents skill.
That's what Guess the Lines is all about, isn't it?
Yep.
You think we reformatted our DPC fantasy game, which we hardly ever even talk about, whereas Guess the Lines, the game we play most competitively, we've never once reformatted the scoring to make it incentivize the things that are most important.
Yeah, what you gonna do? Every team's important, Lord. Every team.
I'm gonna complain about it. That's what I'm gonna do. All right, but we have to start this episode on the bunny slopes. So the ski resort town you never heard of, but now you really want to go to, is Bukovel, Ukraine. That was the site of the 2nd DPC minor of the season. It was the site of Geek Fam's best performance of the year. I know Aiden was watching closely, Geek Fam being on his fantasy team. But most importantly, this is the site where, depending on your perspective, you either witnessed the rebirth of the TI7 champions and their new org, Nigma Gaming, or it's the site where we just sent a bunch of frauds to the 2nd major of the year. I don't know where you land on that, Aiden. I'm sure we're about to find out. So Nigma had
it's at neither extreme.
Well, yeah, yes. So Nigma had, I would say, a very shaky start to the major, losing to Fighting Pandas in round 1 of the groups, losing to RNG in round 1 of the upper bracket, and losing game 1 of their knockout match against Gambit before they rallied on the final day. That's today, the day we record this. They beat Geek Fam 2-0 in the lower bracket final, and then they won games 2, 3, and 4 all in a row, including 81 and 65-minute nail biters to send themselves to the major. So, Aiden, analysis, please.
Okay, so I'm going to toot my own horn just a tiny bit. My predictions were not fantastic this tournament, but I will say this. I came into it and I tweeted that I thought that Nigma would come in 2nd in the group. I didn't think they'd lose to Fighting Pandas startup, but I thought they'd come in 2nd to the group, losing to Gambit, and then would somehow beat Gambit in the playoffs. And that mostly came from the idea that somehow Nigma was going to be that one of those teams that, they just were going to.
Well, they definitely got stronger as the tournament went along.
Yes, but they were going to be like a team that showed up best when they absolutely had to. I just had that feeling about them, and that's really the story of this round. They were not the best team, start to finish. They were not even necessary. I mean, I didn't watch all the grand finals. I know you've watched more of it than me, but you look at the stats from it. It's not even clear they were the best team in the grand finals. They won 2 of those games with over 30K net worth comebacks, which is unusual. One of them was the 80-minute monster game too. And I mean, what you gonna do? I do think that game may have been a little bit of a backbreaker for RNG. You lose it. You lose I think they had a 30K net worth lead at 50 minutes. You play another 30 minutes and managed to lose it. I I know it is hard to come back from that.
Oh yeah, no question. And actually, Knoxville tweeted that the comeback in Game 4, where they were down 41.2K at 62 minutes, the third largest LAN comeback since TI5, and the fifth largest if you include online matches. So two highly significant comebacks, including one, I mean, all-timer. And, this made me think about, Aden, you and I talked in the last episode about is Vici Gaming and their level of talent, where they don't have to prepare at all because they're so good in lane, they're so good at the fundamentals that they can build up a lead on all but the most talented teams. And it's interesting to see Nigma. They seem like the exact opposite side of that same coin, where instead, they can lose all they want for the first 30 minutes of the game, but they are so good and so poised at late game decision making that their talent seems to win out in the exact opposite way that Vici Gaming's does.
Okay, I mean, you can throw that argument out there, but I also watched them play earlier in the tournament where that didn't happen.
No, it didn't. I'm talking about what happened today, because I mean, this team, as Synderen was saying, this team improved a lot every single day of this tournament.
I just don't find myself like fully agreeing with that. I don't think that they showed. I watched the Geek Fam versus Nigma series today. I mean, they were better. I guess they made like fewer bad mistakes, but if you want to think if you're talking about them improving every day, it was incremental. It wasn't like they were like massively better. I mean, day 1 they lost 2-1 to Pandas in a close series, and then day 2 they beat them 2-1 in a close series. Like,
all right, that's a good point.
Like day 3 they they lost to RNG 2-1, beat Gambit and beat Geek Fam, beat Gambit 2-1, and then beat RNG. With 230K net worth comebacks. Again, okay, I guess it's better. The result's better, but like I don't trust it. I mean, you're going to hear about, I don't know what to do about how they're going to finish the major, but I'm not really hopeful for them. I mean, you got a player Miracle was his normal self. He played great. GH I thought was really good. Mind Control had a couple good games, but nothing crazy. But I mean, you got a guy like your second player, and I really feel like this is a meta where 2 cores you having 2 farm cores is important. And we averaged more deaths per game than Zephyr and Super. Those are it's a position 4 and a position 5. Like, you can't be doing that. And to be fair, he had decent laning stages, but that may have been because they gave him advantageous heroes. But I mean, it's just too much. I think they're just going to get punished by good teams.
Yeah, I think it's a distinct possibility. They are going to the major, and for my DPC fantasy squad, I didn't care because RNG and Nigma were both Lorton teams, and I think, and despite all of your shitting on them, I still think Nigma has higher upside at the major than RNG does.
Sure, they also got a better chance of finishing last than RNG does.
Yes, I agree with that too.
So let's talk about RNG. Setsu was good.
Setsu was really good, man.
And Monet was good.
Yep.
I mean, who wasn't good on that team, I guess is a better question.
You tell me. I had not seen a ton of. I don't recall having any strong memories of Flywin September. And I mean, you yourself said Super, the most boring player in Chinese Dota history, I think is what you said.
Mm-hmm. That is what I said.
Well, no, the main thing I saw from RNG was that they love to play, actually really similar to last year's or 2 years ago, VGJ Thunder, the kiting meta, or the kiting survivability meta, where the fights they take are like a minute and a half long, and they've got all of these Yule scepters and force staffs and IO relocates and just a million ways to engage and disengage from the fight, to where like they're only participating if they think they're in an advantageous position. And for every opponent except Nigma, every opponent besides Nigma seemed completely stymied by RNG.
Yeah. It's true. They were really good. And weirdest thing, this is like the one of the things I noticed most is that um I'm not 100% sure on this, but I'm pretty sure that when they drafted IO and they used it, I think I'm thinking of the game where they in the first time they played Enigma and beat them, which was a really good game. They
Hmm.
came back actually against Enigma. It was the game where they were playing Invoker and Monet was playing Nakes with the IO. Did it strike you as weird that Super's the guy who's playing IO?
Yeah, absolutely. I always think of Io as a 4 hero.
And I think he played for in terms of priority. I'm looking now, net worth. It looks about even in that game. I just, you sort of think of like you've got this position 4 play, and if he can't play your IO, like what is he doing on your team? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what's up with that? But it was, or maybe it is that IO is going to start being a position 5 because he was lower in net worth in every game. Who knows? Could be.
Yeah, lower than the AA in that game 3, and then lower than the Treant Protector in
Yeah.
game 1. Yeah.
That'll be interesting. Especially because you've got players. It'll be interesting if IO becomes a position 5 if it needs to be, just because the way the game has changed. It'll be really interesting to see what position 5s out there can play it, or whether they'll just have to play the 4s play less greedy. Um, yeah, weird.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
I mean, I can obviously see Puppy playing IO, but Fata? Can Fata play IO?
can PPD play IO? Well, who cares? He's not around. That's my terrible segue to NIP.
Super harsh. Yeah, let's hear it.
And they deserve very little discussion. They showed up with their new mid Tanner. Gunner moved to safe lane.
Mhm.
I just looked it up. Tanner and Gunner had a combined KDA of 1.94.
Oh, that is. But that's for their support duo. What about their cores?
Yeah, right. And just because I didn't watch a single NIP game because they were all scheduled in the middle of the night, and they're also only played 2 series because they got shit on. But man, I don't know who's the problem there, but man, that's not good. NIP is not in a great place, and I know that they haven't had a ton of time to practice. I think PPD even said that. But if you think this is the last change they're making this season, I would love to bet against you.
All right. They didn't have a lot of time to prepare, but I mean, did they have a more important event they were working toward?
No, it's just Tanner hadn't joined them that recently, joined them relatively recently. And speaking, another great segue I'm about to use here. Speaking of a team with a new mid player, Geek Fam.
Carl. I enjoyed my time watching Carl. Really nice Timbersaw plays.
Yes, he played really well with Timbersaw. Here is my thought on Carl. He's better than Rayoya.
Mm-hmm.
He is pretty good in lane, like CSing and bullying and stuff like that. He slightly underestimates his opponents in lane.
Like he's accustomed to playing pubs.
Yeah, I don't know if it was that from, but I just feel like there were a couple of times where it was like they're both low, and Carl was like, "I got this," and he didn't get that, just a little bit, But that's okay. It was certainly entertaining. But on the other hand, he also died more times than he had kills in the first minute. Again, when you're playing against, who was the best mid he played against? GPK? I guess he played against GPK. Did he play against Setsu? And
Setsu, yeah.
Those are pretty good mids. They're not, okay, so I take it back. Those are good mids, but at the same time, like, he also played against some other not so good mids.
Oh yeah, well, but even in a win against RNG, he's got like on a puck, playmaking hero. He's a 13, 8, and 11. 8 deaths, as many as your offlaner and your Rubik. It's not exactly what you're looking for from your mid puck.
Yeah, but I see improvement for them. So I'm.
Oh, they played a lot better than before.
All right, Lorton. So give me the over under on how many majors they make. We got 3 majors left.
Well, I mean, I'm shitting on my point for later, but if Reality Rift Gaming is the bar, I feel like the Southeast Asia field is wide open. I'll give you your over under is 1.5 majors.
So does Southeast Asia keep getting 3 bids?
I mean, if Reality Rift is the bar, no.
Well, if they keep getting 3 bids, 1.5, I go over. If they keep getting,
I gotcha.
If they drop down to 2 bids, I go under. Because I do think, I mean, here's the thing is that with 3 bids to China and 3 bids to Europe, they may be in the top 15 teams in the world and not be in the top 2 teams at the major or at the minor. Right? The
Yeah.
4th Chinese team and the 4th EU team are probably both going to be. Actually, it wasn't even. Yeah, I mean EU. Yeah, so I don't know. But I think it's very close.
No, I agree with you. And if the evidence keeps stacking up that there are not quite enough EU and China teams at the major, then I mean it kind of does make sense to give at least one of those regions an extra spot to make the minor more interesting.
Sure.
I mean, this minor was super interesting because, well, there was a pretty darn good European team and a pretty darn good Chinese team.
Yeah, I mean, there were 5 good teams there. 4.5 if you don't want to count Fighting Pandas, which I'm indifferent on that choice. I mean, Gambit is a good team.
Yeah.
Regardless of how they keep on, they're a great team when it's not a DPC event. On that XS Vampire, making a case for the 4 of the future, man. They had an absurd, like, if you haven't, I couldn't tell you exactly.
Is this the next VP player who you're torpedoing? You already torpedoed No One, so now you're going to torpedo Roger?
Roger's not on VP, dog.
Right, like I was saying.
No, that's Save. I would take XX Vampire over Save. Although, I mean, like, I'm not huge on that.
Yeah,
I think Save is decent.
Sure.
His tiny play was absurd. There's a hold that when both of their when GPK and Dream are both dead against, where they don't lose even a Rax despite having to hold for like 35 seconds. Sachlo, FNG, and XS Vampire, and it's just silly. Like, you're just like looking at, it's like a 5-on-3 and they just can't kill and they can't do anything, and it's really obnoxious. And GPK, of course, is a monster. He didn't play Alchemist once, but at 10 minutes he had 400 net worth higher on average than any other player at the tournament. What's up with that? I like that's kind of silly.
Yeah. Better than Setsu. All right, that's great.
So 2 last things on here. Meta changes. So there is an element of how much do minors foretell the meta at a major, but one thing I found interesting is we had this whole idea, and they harped on this a lot during the broadcast, that this was a meta that was like, for you snowball, you win and you snowball. All 5 of the good teams, like I'm not counting NIP, I'm not counting Spirit, I'm not counting Furia. Yeah. The other 5 teams all averaged over 38 minutes and 45 seconds per game. Only 2 out of 12 teams at Singapore, only 2 teams averaged more than that. So we've got a definite increase in game time. And obviously the finals is an even bigger example of that, with an 80-minute and 60-minute game. It'll be interesting to see if the major teams are just better at utilizing like small advantages and turning them into Raxes. But it definitely felt like teams had started to feel like they could hold out against the net worth lead, which is nice, because at the moment that meant that heroes that couldn't be picked for so long could now all of a sudden at least be in the ballpark. Like, RNG picked Spectre, and I'm not saying it worked, but like, I don't think anyone going into this tournament, anyone even considered taking a Spectre. But if you've already played a game to 80 minutes, like, maybe it happens, right? You at least consider it.
So your point here is that the winning games early is not actually as important as people seem to think?
I mean, I thought it as well. I think that just that teams are figuring out how to hold it off, to delay the game better than they had before.
Got it. Yeah, because I mean, especially when the patch dropped, the easy analysis was that it encourages snowballing with the neutral items, with the outposts. I mean, everything encourages snowballing. But it does stand to reason that with a little more experience, teams would figure out that not all is lost, even if map control is lost.
So it's interesting. I think oftentimes patches go the other way, because you figure out how to like optimize your advantage. You start having drafts that like have specific timings, and like all of a sudden you realize, oh, I know how to press this exact advantage into a win. So maybe not. Maybe we'll see at the major it'll go back to quicker team, and the Singapore tournament will end up being a better barometer for the top teams, but we'll find out. One last question. We had a a question. I think it was Syndrome said something about it, right? And they were quoting him, maybe, or maybe it was a quote about Seb, but it was Syndrome talking about Seb.
Okay.
Anyways, Funnel Cake Joe asked on our Discord, some pro players have said that net worth doesn't mean shit. Do you agree? Should we be using some other metric to analyze game momentum? If so, what?
I mean, if there were a better metric, I would love to hear it. I mean, you want to talk to Knoxville about this. He hates Dota Plus win expectancy, and net worth. I mean, you can look it up from every patch since the history of time. Net worth advantages are highly correlated with wins. Yeah, there are times when they matter less and times when they matter more. But as far as a proxy for who's winning, and since we don't have a good proxy, a good number to account for map control, yeah, I think net worth is about as good as we're going to get.
Look, I get the point Seb's trying to make here, or Seb was making, is that we already know that net worth is not a perfect indicator. We already if there's an alchemist in the game, you're like, hey, obviously the 10K net worth lead doesn't mean as much as it would if you didn't have the alchemist. We already filter it somewhat like that.
Well, and right, and how many times you've watched a game where a team has no buybacks? You're like, I don't care how high their net worth lead is. They have no buybacks. They're toast. Right.
But there's also situations where you say, okay, look, we have the highest net worth hero in this game is a hero that's just not that strong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it happens. What happens? I'm thinking what's a shitty late game carry, like a Juggernaut. Okay, Juggernaut's pretty crappy right now. All right, so Juggernaut's the highest net worth hero in the game. He's 4,000. He's 25K net worth, and then you have a hero on the other side. A Morphling is 20K net worth. Are you ahead? Are you behind? It's not that simple. And then even on top of that, you have this timing. What is my effective net worth? We already know that Midas is not as effective use of net worth. So if you have 5 Midases on your team and you're 2K ahead, at that moment, if you fight, are you ahead? Answer is probably not. So I think you're totally right in your first instance, is that net worth is highly correlated and it's not perfect, but we don't have anything better.
Totally.
So, all right.
Yeah. You want to get us a better number? I'd love to have it.
Yes, please do. And by the way, I think that Dota Plus win expectancy is an attempt to do that.
Yeah, it is.
I don't actually know if it's better correlated. It might be.
Totally. Right. And I think Knoxville shits on it from a place of bias. And I mean, well-earned bias. I don't begrudge him that. I think Dota Plus win expectancy is another interesting data point that goes along with net worth and XP. And I don't mind looking at it.
Yeah, for sure. All right. That's it for the minor. We're going to preview the major in just a moment. But first, let's have a live read.
All right, I'm going to remind you that the glimpse is brought to you by OutdoorGamingPCs.com, Aden. If you're a gamer, you know what I'm talking about. Tired of having your friends and family comment about how pale your skin is? Tired of missing barbecues, pool parties, just quality time out on the patio with your partner, all because you're trying to push high ground against the techies? Well, look no further, fam. OutdoorGamingPCs.com is exactly what it sounds like. You can get a high-performance rig built for the outdoors. It's not just spill-proof. These PCs are practically hurricane-proof. Like, you know where you want to be grinding MMR, whether it's summer, winter, spring, or fall. You don't want to be cooped up in some dank basement. You want to be out in the fresh air and the sunshine. So don't let yourself spend another day as an indoorsman. Get to OutdoorGamingPCs.com and order your outdoor tower, your monitor, keyboard, and mouse. But don't forget to check out their amazing accessories just for the outdoor gamer. You can get an extension cord so you can play from your tree fort, maybe your neighbor's hammock. Get the hood of a Avernus to keep out bugs, birds, distractions. Get the Disco Pony outdoor gaming chair for a comfortable, stable place to sit. And of course, if you really want to show your enthusiasm for outdoor gaming, get an OutdoorGamingPCs.com t-shirt available exclusively at glimpsepod.com. All right, Aden, time to preview a major?
Absolutely.
All right. I am, as I told you, it's getting hard to find tournament odds for Dota 2. Seeing lots of League of Legends. I'm seeing StarCraft Brood War odds more often than I'm seeing Dota odds. I don't know why I don't know why I'm complaining to the listeners of this podcast, because we've advised you many times not to bet on Dota because it's a bad use of money. But maybe I'd like to ask you to bet just a little bit on Dota so that more places post odds. I don't know.
Sure. Or at least if you have any friends in the betting industry, have them just post odds for fun. Like,
for sure. Right. With these VIGs, how could a sportsbook possibly lose on this stuff?
Right. But anyways, apparently you found some. Let's hope they're not too shitty.
I found some. That's our old friends, betathome.com. Don't be changing your stuff just because you learned that. And many of these odds are fine. There's one line that I think you're going to lose your shit on.
I'm delighted to do that.
Yeah. All right. And so, I'm going to suggest that we start with Vici Gaming. The team.
Are they your favorite?
I had them as the favorite in my odds. Yeah. The team that Aden calls the number one team in the world, coming off a second place finish at the Chengdu Major, where we awarded 2 of their players, Ori in the mid lane and PYW in the 4th position, awarded them team of the tournament honors. And they followed that grand finals appearance by winning the Singapore Invitational over EG. ROTK led his team to 2 major wins last year. And coming off that win in Singapore, he's got to feel like, that he owns 7.23 up to this point. So, Aden, what did you have for Vici Gaming's odds?
Oh, I had them at a standard 4-1 for the favorite.
Oh, yeah? Well, I had them at 4-1.
Excellent.
Yep. Actual odds, 4.1 to 1, and we draw.
Look at that. A plausible first line. I'm in. Let's do it. All right. So, I thought about this one a lot. There's a lot of recency versus old school. I had TNC as my next team.
Wow, Aden. I mean, so I assume that you're talking about just for the odds, not in your personal power rankings?
Just for the odds.
Okay, I had them 6th in the odds.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I'm very serious that I had them 6th in the odds.
Interesting. The defending major champion. Don't get me wrong. I know they've been shit since then. But
no, right.
Clearly shown.
My recency bias is a lot more recent than yours.
Okay.
But yeah, let's.
I don't trust TNC, but they've already shown ceiling win major, and have won ES. They're the only team to win 2 major tournaments. Right? They won ESL. They won Chengdu. It's hard for me not to think. They've won 2 out of the 3 tournaments they've entered this year.
Oh, absolutely. And actually, I can trace that back to a very specific moment, which was when we shat all over their editions of KP in March. When they got rid of Cuckoo and AU, we hated the move. And they responded by winning 2 straight tournaments.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to do that anyway, so we've been talking about it. I've got them at 5-1, which by the way, I would not bet on, but it felt like you give them the major winners a little boost in the line.
Yeah, absolutely. I gave them a boost in the line all the way up to 11-1. Actual odds 13-1.
Is this the one you thought that was going to annoy me? If there's something more annoying than this.
Oh, this is not even close. I think 13-1 is appropriate odds for TNC. I mean, you could argue there's a sconce of value on TNC at 13-1. But
I think,
and this has them actually at 4th. There are no posted odds for Nigma.
Oh wow, I had them. I'm not saying that 5. I thought 5-1 is higher, but I actually legitimately think they're 7 or 8-1. I think 13 is way low on them. Again, they won. They've shown it. They can win this tournament.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
I strongly disagree, and this is not boding well for the rest of my lines.
Lorton leads 1-0, but don't worry, and there's plenty of time for you to make up ground. I had number 2 in my rankings, Team Secret.
I have them at number 3.
All right. All right. So they were top 2 in the DPC wire to wire last year. won 2 majors, 4th at TI, took a well-deserved rest. Now they've been getting Matumba Man up to speed, breaking in their new coach, Heen. We saw them at Singapore, not trying especially hard and ending up in 5th place. And so for that, I gave them a discount over Vici Gaming. I had them at 4.5 to 1.
I had them at 7 to 1.
Okay. Well, then you'll
assume you're going to take it because they're the second.
You may be surprised to learn then that they're favorites ahead of Vici Gaming at 4 to 1. And I would remind you not to discount the Western bias that we have come to know and appreciate from these betting sites.
Okay. All right. I'm way off on these ones, but I think it may cancel itself out in the total, so I may be okay on the rest of mine.
Well, yeah, I was going to say you follow the VIG close enough. There will be some mean reversion.
Yeah.
All right.
Interesting. I forgot. I was going to give you some draft nuggets for this stuff.
Oh.
So
throw
sorry,
some
going
nuggets
back,
at me,
this
Aden.
is terrible. Okay, Vici Gaming.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the most banned hero against them is? They've played a lot of 7.23 games because they have Singapore and this is, again, all these stats are for 7.23.
Is it Magnus?
It's Winter Wyvern, and they are 8-0 with Winter Wyvern in 7.23.
Who plays it? Is that a DY?
I believe. No, I think it's PYW who's mostly playing it, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, little thing right there.
Wyvern was the thing at Bukovel too.
Yeah, it's a hero right now. People like it. TNC draft nugget here. Banned or picked by Venno was the most contested hero in their games. 12 out of 13 games was it banned or picked in Singapore by them or sometimes the opponent. And Team Secret. Here's the big one here.
Yeah.
Most banned hero against them. What do you think?
Chen?
Lone Druid. Matumba Man Lone Druid. Teams do not want to deal with Lone Druid right now. I know it got nerfed a little bit, but the few times where it wasn't first phase banned, they basically first picked it. Guaranteed.
Well, I mean, with a bunch, I've been wanting to ask real Dota players how they think about the extra items in the game. And I mean, it does make sense that if there are a bunch of extra items in the game and there's one hero that has twice as many item slots as everybody else, it could stand to reason that hero became more valuable.
Sure. You got to put a Mindbreaker, right, on or Prince's Knife on Bear. Come on, that's obnoxious as hell.
Love the Prince's Knife. It's one of the ones I know.
Yep.
That's why I like it.
Also, 12-1 on Rubik in 7.23, and Rubik was very good at the Bukovel Major. Definitely a all-purpose position 4. Seems strong. So,
and a Yapsor signature.
Yep. All in all. There it is. All right, so who do you have next?
I had EG next.
Okay, I also have, so that's EG's your third, EG's my fourth.
Yep, that's right.
Got it.
And I mean, yeah, so it's hard not to think of their 4th place finish at Chengdu as a disappointment, even if it was their first major since Ramses and Abed joined the team. But at the same time, you got to imagine their fans are feeling some relief after a fairly dominating performance in Singapore, if you don't count that grand finals. I mean, but that tournament, if you recall, they beat Gambit, Liquid, LGD, and Team Secret. And with all that in mind, I still don't love them here compared to Vici Gaming and Secret. I had them 7 to 1.
I have them 8 to 1.
Woo.
I mostly agree.
Sweet relief for me. Actual odds, they're right behind the front runners, 5.25 to 1 in the odds, and I take that one.
That seems poor odds. I'm not going for that. Oh my god, I'm a moron. Okay, that's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect anything. It's actually I have them at 7.5 to 1. I prepared a 1.3 VIG option as well.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't affect it. I have 7.5, but
cool.
Okay. Cool. All right, so who else do you have ahead of TNC? Who's your next one?
IG?
Yeah.
I mean, because like
next as well.
I get that going into the Chengdu Major, it was fair to ask whether they were legit. Because you yourself said, like, are they this year's Keen Gaming? We're gonna see them at one or two majors looking completely uninspiring, but they knocked out EG, finished third in Chengdu, got their offlaner JT a little team of the tournament nod from the Glimpse pod. Mm-hmm. And then they qualified top 2 for Leipzig. I mean, that's the sort of thing that LGD Gaming doesn't do.
Right. Point of interest though, one concern. So they didn't play at Singapore, so we haven't seen much of them.
Yeah.
There is a China, high levels tournament or games going on right now. Vici Gaming is dominating it. I think LGD is also doing really well. IG is not doing that great. They're 12-9 in maps, which again, it's not terrible, but that's like more in line with like RNG is 12-8. So it's a little bit of a concern. Not enough for me to like say they're not good, but definitely like a data point that says maybe other Chinese teams are figuring them out at least.
Well, yeah, and I don't know. I thought the skill level RNG showed in the Bukovel Minor was very similar to the skill level IG showed in the Summit Minor. The difference is the competition was a little tougher in Bukovel, in my opinion.
Sure. Well, with all of that, I've got them at 10-1. Cool.
You're going to end up taking that. I had them 8-1. I was a little generous. Actual odds 14-1, just 1 point behind TNC. And so now I lead 3-1 in the game.
Hang on. Do they have... So IG is their 4th team, or did we miss somebody?
IG is their 5th team. They have Secret, Vici Gaming, EG, TNC, and IG.
Oh, TNC's 13, right? They're 13. Yep. I thought it's like, okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Yep.
Well, I went low then on the next couple here. So my next team, I actually have Alliance and Enigma at the same place.
Cool. I'm good with that. I have Alliance next.
Okay. I had Alliance at 12-1. This is a weird spot because Alliance is a top 8 team in Dota right now. On the other hand, are they top 8 chance to win a major? And the answer to me is probably not. I think they will. I expect them to finish top 8. I don't expect them to finish top 3. I think it's very unlikely they go top 3.
No, I mean, as much as we love Limp, I mean, this team has been the poster child for narrow range of outcomes the entire year.
Yeah. Yeah. So I had them at 12-1. Obviously, that's going to be low, based on because I know they're over 14-1.
Yep.
But I sort of didn't know what to do with it there.
Totally. No, it's a defensible pick by you. I had them 14-1. Actual odds 16-1. We were all in the ballpark. I was closer. I'm up 4-1.
Yeah. And I said Enigma at 12-1. I really don't know what to do with Enigma. Anyone who watched them play, I'm just sitting there thinking like, even the mediocre teams like, or the average teams like Alliance or Liquid are going to punish Enigma for the mistakes they make. You know, they just make too many mistakes. They're too out of sync with each other. And yes, they have skill equal to those guys, but like I just like don't know that Liquid's not going to get away with the crap they got away with at Bukovel. On the other hand, they won a fucking TI and came in second, third.
They came in second last year.
Last year, right? Like.
Well, yeah, and so for that reason, I mean, you have to give them more credit in the odds than this. I had them 8.5-1 for what it's worth. Not like I said, there are no published odds for these, and so if I could, I would award myself the win for that one because you were wrong. You're not giving them enough credit.
I mean, I would have like if you told me your pick was between 7 and 20, I would have been like, like I just threw it in the middle there. I have them in my power rankings below that. I think they are about a 50-50 top 8 versus not top 8 team. Yeah, if you had to bet on that, would you bet top 8 or not top 8?
I would bet top 8. Just
okay.
Well, like I agree with you.
Bet here. I'm gonna go bottom 8.
Okay, put it on the board.
Okay. I'm definitely gonna lose this guess the line, so I might as well go for something I might win.
I don't know. There have been bigger comebacks. You're only down 3.
Yeah, but I have like my next three are all under what we are already less than what we know they're going to be.
Oh.
All right. My next teams are, well, my next team, I guess, is Liquid, another EU team, really.
Yep,
all
same.
my EU and South Am. LD, Lone Druid, also first most banned against them. I guess it is a Quakefa special as well.
Yeah.
Timber is up there also in terms of being banned against them. It is also a boxy hero. Probably is, I think, other than Earthshaker, would be his other sort of his second signature hero. And obviously Earthshaker is not a 3 right now. Weirdly enough, they have first phase picked Bristleback and Coddle in 4 of their 27.23 games. Most common first phase combo they've had. They've only picked Bristleback 6 times, but 4 of the times they first phased it with Coddle with it. I don't know what to make of that. It's not like they dominated with that combo. And who knows? Like, again,
it is really annoying to play against, though.
Yeah, and we talked about this against after the Singapore thing. Like, Liquid may have just been picking it because they're fucking around at Singapore. We know that from Blitz that they were not all in on that tournament.
Yeah, they weren't trying super hard. And it is nice to just know what you're going to pick in the first phase, and that's something that there's a lot of flexibility you can play with picking those two.
Okay, well, I had them at 15-1.
I had them at 15-1.
Woo!
So that's a draw.
Like 18-1.
Actual odds 18-1. You got it.
Yeah. Okay. Who'd you have next?
I put Fnatic next, which
agreed.
Yeah. Like, it's hard for me to imagine Fnatic being worse than they were at the Chengdu Major.
Right. And they're a team also who's played very little. Like, they've only played they haven't played since the qualifiers where they went 10-0. Although they didn't have to play TNC, I believe. So, I mean, what you gonna make out of that?
Right.
Not a lot.
Yeah, not a ton.
I had them at 16-1.
I had them at 16-1 as well. It's another draw.
Comeback, tie a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah, it does not help. You're still down by 3. Actual odds 14-1. So the betting markets like them equal to IG, which I think is criminal. It's just ridiculous. And they like them better than Alliance and Liquid, which I think is somewhat defensible.
Yeah,
I think we would both agree Alliance and Liquid overperformed a little bit at Chengdu, and Fnatic underperformed. So if we thought Fnatic was way ahead of them before,
I will agree about nothing with Liquid. Right? Nothing. I know nothing about that team. They do well when I think they're going to do terrible. They do terrible when I think they're going to do well. So I will make no postulations. I will not agree with anything you say about them. I won't disagree either. But I just want to be very clear.
Cool. All right, I got it. So if Liquid wins this tournament, I will not have said that didn't happen. That won't happen. Throw up your hat that you ate.
I still got to do that shit. I do have to do that. I have a plan. I know what hat I'm going to eat. I swear to you, this is going to happen, guys. I know it's really late, but I'm busy sometimes. Anyways, I had to redo my floor. No, it's not a story, but I will get to it. I will eat a hat. I have a plan. Okay. All right.
Okay.
What do you have next, Lorton?
Okay, this one I went back and forth on a few times, and I originally had my team, Virtus Pro, there, and I switched them out, and I gave it back to Beast Coast.
I also have Beast Coast next.
Wow, Aden, we are making for an exciting podcast.
It's, you're kicking my ass, which no one likes to hear. I mean, I imagine some listeners are probably turning it off by now because they're so sad about my impending doom.
Like the Seahawks fans in the fourth quarter.
No, I think more like the Baltimore Ravens fans in the fourth quarter. I know one of them. He stopped watching to come play Rocket League with me last night. Anyways, Beast Coast. Like, look, I don't actually believe Beast Coast is going to win a major ever. On the other hand, like, they keep doing pretty well. So, I don't know. I feel like that's an 18-1.
Wow. Okay, I had them 18-1 as well,
Holy shit, dude! Come on.
This is what I had, and I used the same logic you did. I was like, yeah, I'm not accustomed to putting Beast Coast this high, but they did finish top 8 last time. And then I looked at the actual odds, and I was very surprised to see them come in at 42-1.
Whoa! They were 17-1 before the last major, the Chengdu major.
This is the laziest odds making I have ever seen, Aden.
What did they do at Chengdu that made them go dramatically different?
Like they performed better than the odds suggested they should, and the odds more than doubled.
Yep. I imagine this is the one that you thought was going to piss me off.
Yes,
it is the one. If there's one worse than this, I'm going to have a little trouble.
Are you not pissed off?
I'm just really glad that neither of us got a point for it, because that would have been really upsetting for one of us to like benefit from this bullshit. All right. It's like, this is a classic like situation where like it's such a bad call that you want both players just be like, no, we're just gonna shove that one under the rug, pretend it didn't happen, and go on with our lives. Like, wow. I mean, like, look, 18-1. I don't actually think they win 1 out of every 18 majors, right?
No. But neither does Alliance.
Yeah, and I want to know what teams are ahead of them that supposedly have a better chance.
You're gonna laugh your ass off when we get to those, and there are several, as you can imagine.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we had VP next, both of us.
Sure. Do you have anything to say about Beast Coast other than
they've only played in the qualifiers, and I just think that's too hard to like kind of anticipate. I mean, like, you know, they are a team that when they lose hard, and when they win entertainingly.
Yes.
But definitely they lose hard. Like, they get just crushed sometimes.
So would you say that they're like a better Nigma?
Certainly more entertaining than Enigma. Well, I don't know if that's true, but
right. To me, they're a poor man's Nigma as of right now.
All right, but so the difference is that like Enigma, it's like, oh my god, look at this crazy game you played. Remember when you used to be good at Dota? I mean, like you know, like really good and just like dominate those games. And Beast Coast, it's like, oh, you plucky underdogs, delightful. Like it's just like it's purely a mentality thing. It's not none of those like actually affects whether the game is fun or not, but it definitely comes from a different place.
Yeah, I guess it all is based on your expectations.
When you watch your favorite team and they're doing crazy ass shit, you're like, what the fuck is happening? Like, you know, in football, if your team is running a double reverse every 3 plays, you're like, what the fuck? Or a flea flicker. On the other hand, when a random team you're watching does it, you're like, ooh, fun. Anyways, we had VP next. Let's move on before I have to think more about this Beast Coast situation than I want to. I have VP at 22-1. I hope that's right.
Ooh. Fine. All right. After 3 draws in a row, Aiden's going to take one. I had VP 20-1, actual odds 24-1. And I don't know that there's a lot to say here. They looked a lot better in these qualifiers than they did in the last set of qualifiers.
And they looked okay at Singapore.
That's right. You said, Epileptic Kid, if he learns one more hero, he'll be in your top 5 favorite players on this team.
Yep. Okay, so I looked a little bit more into this. So that's in 6 out of the last 11 games. They played more than 11, but in 6 out of the last 11 games, PL was banned against them first or second phase. Gyro was picked first phase or by their opponent or banned 9 out of their last 10 games in the qualifiers. I just wonder what team is going to go out there and just be like, fuck what meta heroes. Let's just ban PL and Gyro and see what the fuck this guy can do. I think it's going to happen.
I assume that's going to be most teams, especially after Miracle kind of elevated the profile of PL in this last
PL
tournament.
For sure. I think PL is definitely going to ban. Gyro, I don't know if teams are like Gyro. We barely saw. I don't know if teams are going to do that, but I think eventually somebody will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just like don't know what they're going to do after that. But like they've gotten to the point where if you give them PL in the first phase, they will almost always pick it because it can't do better than that for him. Counter it all you want. Do what you got to do. Yeah. So we'll see. All right, so here we get a little bit interesting. We got 5 teams left, right? I think there are clear next 2 teams. Who do you got? Do you agree?
Yeah, I do. These are the teams that aren't quite cellar dwellers, and like it's every major. Excuse me. We get to this point, and I'm like, wow, is that team really that low in the odds? But I mean, I did just name 11 teams I like better than them. So the next up for me is Aster.
Interesting. I guess I have a tie. Okay, but Aster next. All right, sure.
I have Aster and Chaos.
Yeah, right. The next 2 for sure.
Cool.
I've got Aster at 25-1.
Cool. I have Aster at 25-1.
God damn it.
Yep.
I can't come back if you keep tying me. Also, by the way, this is another one where you could have told me anything from like 20 to 50 that the odds makers made, and I would have been like believed it. Because like the argument for them is they look good. The other argument for them is they shit the bed at majors. Like, you know.
Well, right. And my personal opinion is much closer to the shitting the bed at majors one.
Sure.
But after we got burned on the handicapping last time around, they were like 13-1 or something like that. I bumped them up a little bit. Anyway, actual odds still higher than either of us estimated. 19.25-1.
That's nonsense.
Putting them ahead of VP and of course Beast Coast.
Nonsense, I tell you. Point of interest. Other teams seem to think they value the Timbersaw. I'm not sure they do. They probably do. But Vici Gaming and IG both first phase banded against them in the Chinese league. I'm just assuming that IG and Vici know more about Aster than I do. So if they think Aster values it and needs to be first phase banned, maybe it needs to be first phase banned. But definitely let's pay attention to whether XXS is allowed to have. It's still XXS, right? I'm not making that up.
No, you're not. Okay, it is XXS.
God, I was about to say, like, yeah, let's see if he gets the hand on Timbersaw. We did see Timbersaw is a hero that definitely in games can cause significant problems. I think that's maybe the
way to put it. That's what Carl from Geek Fam showed us, right?
Yeah. So that hero definitely is making a comeback.
That's right. All right, let's keep it moving here, Aiden. Next, I had Chaos. You said you had them the same as Aster, 25-1.
Yep.
Okay, well, I shat all over you here. I have much less faith in Chaos than you do. I had them 40-1 actual odds, 42-1 equal to Beast Coast.
I think they should be twice as long odds as Aster, more than twice.
I don't think they do, but the betting markets have them there.
I mean, the betting market, there's only one of them.
That's true.
If we could find a better one, we would.
We would love to.
I mean, I don't hate that call. It just seems like relatively wrong. You know what I mean? Like if you ask me just straight up, what are their odds to win the major? 40-1 isn't like a horrible guess.
Yeah.
On the other hand, like if you told me that, like if you were gonna tell me that Aster was 19-1, I would damn sure think that Chaos was 25 or less. I mean, remember, this is the team that was top 8 at TI. Were they top 8 at TI? And essentially, it's the same team.
Well, they made up her bracket at TI, and
they finished tied. Yeah. Okay.
They got knocked down a little bit, and this is not exactly the same team, but yes, the point is reasonable.
Yeah. Okay.
And don't worry, this is not going to be the thing that pisses you off most in the next few lines.
Delightful.
All right, so we've gone through 13 out of 16. Let's keep it moving a little bit here, Aiden, because it's late at night here. But I had Na'Vi next.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty clear next one. I had them at 30-1, which clearly is going to. I mean, who knows? Maybe they're ahead of Chaos. I don't know. They did finish tied for 7th at Singapore, which is like not horrible given the competition there. And there were 12 teams, so right middle of the pack.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I feel like, I mean, to me, you have to knock them down because they're behind VP in CIS. They're just like, they're another one of the tier 2 CIS teams that you can never expect to do anything at these majors. And so, of course, the betting markets have it right in your neighborhood. You said 30, actual odds 29. I had 49. So yeah, you're going to take that one handily.
Cool. So couple points. So like TA is a magical special. They were playing even when it was terrible. Right. Navi was playing it. Now TA is good, and teams are going to be so it's their most banned against them. When it's just LGD gave up TA in their first to Navi in their first 2 games at Singapore. It was banned in the first phase 8 of the next 10 games.
Dang.
Teams were like, not again, because they beat LGD twice with it. Also, random stat that I like. Disruptor's a good hero right now. Navi are somehow 18-2 on Disruptor and 7.23.
Wow.
Like, did they win any games without Disruptor is my question. How many wins do they have in 7.23? It can't be that many more than 18, right? Like, I just, I don't know. How many tournaments do they play? Whatever, but we'll see.
That's incredible.
Right, that's right. That's a weird ass number.
That's great.
All right. Next up, I assume you have Pain.
Yeah. I was all ready to put Pain last because they're from South America, but then I looked and then I saw Reality Rift. And I've already shat on them 3 times this episode, but don't worry, there's more coming. I Pain Gaming 51-1.
I have it 50-1. I just am guessing it's like 53, and you're gonna get it because of that bullshit.
No, quite the opposite. It's 29-1, same as Navi.
Wait,
ahead of Beast Coast.
Ahead of Chaos and Beast Coast. I don't want this point. I just don't want it. Take it away.
This game is defunct. No one wins. Except for me. I'm going to win.
Oh, God. I hope someone takes a screenshot of that anguish face I just gave and memes that shit.
All right.
Oh, yeah. So do I have a chance to tie if I get this last one?
Of course you do, and you're going to, because that's how this works. I have 5 points. You have 4. We got Reality Rift Gaming in the last spot here. Reality Rift, who, as you well know, as Aiden, you recall, this is Drew, Alacrity, KYXY, Hustla, and Nuts, with their Vietnamese coach, Mikadzan.
Okay, I'm trying to think, what would I guess for them now if I knew, I'm not going to do this. Like, I have a guess written down, obviously. I'm not going to change it. But what would I do? I think I would guess 50-1 if I was doing it raw now. I actually guessed 75-1.
Guess what, Aiden?
Did I not get it?
I had 74-1. And of course, the odds are 140-1. Congratulations on your bullshit tie. Oh my fucking shit. This is horrible.
Oh man. How do I do this?
We are reformatting this game. This is the last time, Aiden.
Can we just not play this game ever again?
This is horse shit. Fucking A. All right, give us one prediction for the major. Actually, give us your prediction for VP.
How they finished, or just a random prediction about VP?
Yeah, exactly. So, give us something we can take home.
Random prediction. Epi Kid. Most played hero is not Phantom Lancer.
We haven't seen the group draws yet, so I reserve the right to take this one back. But I like VP to make the upper bracket here.
It's just going to depend on the draw. That's why I'm not making a prediction about them. I also think, by the way, Nigma's in the same boat. Like, who knows how they're going to seed Nigma, right? If you seed them last, which I think they did most of last year, they might be in a group with if they get in a group with Vici and Alliance.
Yeah, Vici Gaming, I would think, would be a really hard matchup for Nigma.
Yeah, and even Alliance isn't great. Alliance isn't going to do anything crazy, but they're going to punish your mistakes. Yeah, so I don't know. Or it even could be Vici, it could be TNC plus EG plus Nigma. That would be a crazy strong group. But I don't know. But the same thing could be said with VP. It could be in any of those groups. No, but so I think VP is going to be 9-12. I had to go.
Yep. Seems reasonable.
That's where I have them suited, and I just think that's tough.
Oh yeah, and we haven't asked the question yet from alert listener, or maybe alert listener. Never seen any evidence of alert listening. B2K. Which top tier team has the greatest chance of imploding at the major after such a long break?
So I'm assuming is he talking about a long break as in secret because they haven't played? In which case, there's only 2 teams that haven't played, right? it'd be like secret. And are there any other teams in here that didn't? No, because LGD was the other one taking a break and they didn't make it. So it'd basically be secret.
Yeah, I
So
think
assume it's like a
LGD
long
has the best
break.
chance of imploding.
So I think, is this a long break after Dreamleague? Let's just sort it. How about we say which team is the top team is the best chance of imploding?
Sure.
Okay. So the question here, of course, is does implode mean performing much worse than like they're capable of, or does it mean like
They all
performing
hate each
badly
other
enough
and disband?
that bad things happen, right? Because I think for sure the team that like we could see like going out in the first round of the top teams, and I'm saying the top, like let's say 8. I think TNC is hugely variant.
Yep.
Right. But I also think that TNC, if they fuck up, they just are not like they won a major already. Like fuck it, they're gonna party, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're gonna be happy, but they're gonna party.
Yeah,
so
you're right. That would be called
actually,
flaming out, I would think, more than imploding.
right. So
if you want to
I
get
thought
technical,
there was a team that if they really perform poorly is gonna like implode. I don't know if it's a top team, but I would worry about Fnatic. I think they're the most likely team
I was
going to
say Fnatic.
God damn it, we're on the same page.
Yeah, for real.
Way too much. I worry about Fnatic. I don't know if you called them the top team of the. I guess there's a chance that like I don't. Vici Gaming won't implode. I mean, R2K might yell at them a bit, but
yeah, no. And there are a couple of teams I could see who would like be trying hard and still fail. Alliance and IG would both be on that list for me, but implode, no.
No. All right, yeah. So let's say Fnatic. I think they're the most likely. I mean, I guess Nigma. If you count Nigma as a top team, I mean, if Nigma does really poorly, they won't be happy. But I also think that they're in it for the long haul.
So, I agree.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Good question. Thanks for it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read that live read. IO audio engineer Jason, a better one now that my voice is in a better shape. The Glimpse is brought to you by audio engineer Jason. Is your business considering starting or reinvigorating a podcast this year? You know the best time to start a podcast was 5 years ago, but the second best time is today. Podcasting is still the best marketing medium for forming a deep, loyal connection with your audience. But it isn't exactly easy. Maybe you thought about starting a podcast, but you don't know what to do next, probably because you're intimidated by all the different options like microphones, recording software, editing software, intros, outros, theme songs. Maybe you tried doing a podcast before, but it sounded like you were in a garage. Well, imagine if making a professional sounding podcast were as easy as spreading room temperature butter onto hot, crispy toast. Imagine if you started off on the right foot, knowing exactly what equipment to buy, what software to use, what parts of the process to do in-house, what parts to outsource, and imagine listening to your own podcast right on your phone and having it sound crystal clear like my voice sounds right now. Audio engineer Jason can get you from here to there fast. If you're looking to start or reinvigorate your business's podcast, get in touch with audio engineer Jason at baitsound.com. If you're just getting started, his introductory package will tell you what you need to know fast without breaking the bank. And if you're looking to level up your existing podcast, Audio Engineer Jason has one-time and ongoing consulting packages to help you get the exact sound you're looking for. Once again, you can find Audio Engineer Jason at baitsound.com. Thanks, Jason.
All right, Lorton, we are almost out of time. Let's farm one more wave and get some last hits in. QO, who you remember from the MVP Phoenix team from TI6, is now coaching a team in Australia. Are we going to see them, their team Oracle, I believe, are we going to see them qualify for a DPC event this year?
Probably not, but if Reality Rift is the bar, it could happen.
See, you're forgetting some. Australia servers suck, and there's a big ping issue, right, to SE it?
It's a fact.
Disadvantage.
It's a fact. Aiden, there's going to be a dedicated esports venue in the Mall of Georgia, just up the road from your wedding venue. A quote here: "We've long felt that the gaming and esports communities in the Southeast, especially the greater Atlanta metropolitan area, are vibrant and growing, and believe we have a location at Mall of Georgia that will serve as a dynamic hub for esports experiences in the region," said Judd Hannigan, CEO of Allied Esports. So, Aiden, when are you making your pilgrimage?
Why the hell is there a mall at wherever this Mall of Georgia place is? It's like not near. It's like way out of Atlanta. It's not near anything.
The
What the
Atlanta
hell?
suburbs are one big mall, dude.
Okay, fair enough. Unlikely. I'm still debating whether I'm going to make a pilgrimage to like where the Washington D.C. Washington Defenders, the Overwatch League team.
Mm,
I think they have an arena here, right? All those teams are being played. I believe it is the Washington Justice.
wow.
So we'll see if I ever make a to their whatever arena they play in, the Anthem. Where is that? Wharf Street. It's in DC. That's legit. So, um, yeah, I think that's gonna be highly more likely than that.
Right on.
Okay.
All right, Aiden, last one. Valve says they're going to release one more Underlord in the next few weeks. What kind of abilities would you like to see the new Underlord have?
I like to see it have the ability to bring back the jail system. God, I'm tired of this. Meta doesn't change at all. Like it actually, like I'm actually not falling out of love with Underlords. Like I don't want to play it as much. I only play it now if like if I'm doing something else and I can like play and like watch a game or something like that at the same time. I'm sorry. It's just like if I only ever win with like two strategies.
No, I'm with you. I was addicted to Underlords for a good month there, and then it's totally fallen off for me. No, I want to see an Underlord that has actual disables. Like we've got, Jewel, it can helps you take less damage, and Nesix heals you, and Hobgen, gives you a faster attack speed. I want somebody who hexes or stuns or something.
Interesting.
Or maybe a Fisher. A Fisher Underlord would piss me off so badly.
That would never work out for you. You know that, right?
Absolutely.
Anyways. All right. We're just about out of time, but first we have friend of the podcast, Dan Offen. He's also host of the Position 6 podcast. He asked the question, what if there were a tournament with referees, just like in traditional sports, and we had extra rules, completely arbitrary rules, like you can't stun the same player for more than 3 seconds straight, or they just go into the penalty box. And if the refs catch you, they get to issue a punishment. What kind of rules would you want? What kind of punishment would you put in place, Lorton? While you're thinking about that, our minor listeners, want to ask us questions and play Dota with us or watch Dota with us? Join our Discord. You can find the link at glimpsepod.com. Follow Lorton on Twitter at SharkButler. He occasionally retweets things. Follow me on Twitter at OmegaManDota. I have original content. Thanks to audio engineer Jason Bates. You can find his portfolio at baitsound.com. All right, Lorton, what kind of arbitrary rules do you want to see in Dota? I assume we're talking just Dota at the moment. And what kind of punishments would you put in place?
Well, totally. Well, I started thinking about, first of all, the 3-second stun thing is hilarious. Is a hilarious bastardization of the 3-second violation. And when I talked to him about it, Dan was also saying he would want to see offsides, like you can't stand closer to your opponent's ancient than they're standing. Nice, and then you could like offsides trap people with force staffs and stuff like that. So I think that would all be pretty funny. But as far as like original ideas for ref enforced rules, I do think there's got to be some kind of like unnecessary roughness, or like too like you did something that was too mean, or like overkill with an ultimate that would totally be in the ref's judgment. And I think that would be really funny to see who gets in the penalty box and like how angry the opposing fans get.
I'm actually more interested in the punishments, I think, than some of the rules.
Okay.
Like, what would the punishments be? Maybe like, if you're offsides, you have to like go, let Roshan beat you around for like, 10 seconds, go in, right. 10 seconds in the Roshan pit. I don't know. Or maybe like, if you're offsides, it automatically pings your location to all enemies. Like they know where you are. I feel like there's some good ideas there.
I think that's great. Or you get like some Cinder Brew on you or something like that. Some move slow.
How about every time there's a puppy pause, you like, your input is delayed for 5 seconds. Or just or like cancel no input for 5 seconds.
Or they switch two of your hotkeys.
Okay, that would just be like chaos. Like, how would you even know? You'd be like, wait, what happened and why? No idea. Anyways, there's potential there. Also, like, I really hope. I mean, look, there's only one person who can put this on. I vote Sir Action Slacks as commissioner of the arbitrary rules Dota tournament. And if he does a Kickstarter for us to create rules and put them in, I am in. We will, totally spend a paltry fee to have a really small rule that has no real effect. But I'll do it.
Absolutely. I'm in for that. And you are right that if anyone were going to pull off such an event, it would be Slacks.
All right. Until next time, this is Aden Richards. Back you go. That one could have dragged. It didn't, I actually think.
Look at that. A major preview in under an hour and a half.
Yep.
Helped that we didn't have anything else to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining.
Nope. But yeah, well, God, if only the Packers had fucking actually finished off them before, it got stupid. Like, I was really thinking, like, oh man, might as well skip the whole fourth quarter. Whoa.
Nah, you knew that was never going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just not. The Packers just aren't very good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and we didn't get Vikram's question in. To be fair, he asked it after we started.
Yeah, it's fine. I saw it actually, and I chose not to.
Yep, same.
Do it.
Same. Oh, still live in the fucking video.